Hello everybody, welcome to Tpull's Corner. This is Travis, and we're doing a mono red deck with oil counters again. We did one a few days ago. And I had another idea. So we're going to see if we can make it work. The name of this deck is just called Oily Damage. And here's a little combination with the Exuberant Fuseling and the Magmatic Sprinter. We put the oil counters on the Fuseling, and we pump them up really fast. Down comes a 2/2. And they already have a combat spell as well that gives us poison. Just great. They want to take out the one that's feeding our oil growth. One more of these would be good. By which I mean one more land so that I can do something with this. Bingo. Okay, so this comes down. We do the -5/-5 to that. We attack for the 5. They gain some life. Isn't that perfect? They got a good toughness and gained life at the same time. So I don't have enough for lethal like I thought I was going to this next turn. Yes, attack with the 0/3. That makes sense. Okay, so what can we do here? We've got this we can add here. We've got this we can bring down. We've got this we can sacrifice and add the oil counters to the Fuseling. We're not at 11, but we can activate this. They can just block with that. Okay, so let's do this. Let's bring this down instead. That will be 5. Yeah, let's go ahead and attack. They'll have to block with the Troll. Unless they're going to give up the Scrap Gorger and go down to 1 point of life. There you go, down to 2. Now we can just sacrifice the Dragon Spark Reactor and go straight to their face, as long as they don't have a second Troll right away. They have Thrun. And an Incubation Sac. Perfect. None of that gains them life. That's one way we can win. Let me go in and show you the entire deck. If you're new to the neighborhood, why don't you hit subscribe? That way whenever there's a new video out here at Tpull's Corner, you'll get notified. As we go into the decks and show off our oily damage. And for all you regular watchers out there, I need some more likes. I don't get that many. I don't ask for much. I just want like 4 or 5. because if I'm lucky, I get 1. All right. We have the Filigree Sylex. I only have 1 copy. You can put an oil counter on it the turn it comes into play. You can do 2 different things with it. The middle part we're going to ignore. Sacrifice it to destroy non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of oil counters. So you can build up to a certain specific number of oil counters and then do a kind of board wipe against your opponent if they've got a particularly hard, difficult creature. Like say there's a Phyrexian Obliterator type thing and you want to have 4 oil counters so that it gets rid of that thing. You can do that. What we want to do is the bottom one. Remove 10 oil counters from permanents you control, sacrifice the Sylex, and do 10 damage to our opponent. To help us out with this, we've got 2 copies of Urbrass Forge, and their power increases. They get an automatic additional oil counter on the Forge every turn. So if it stays in the field, that'll help with the 10 oil counters we need. We've got 3 Furnace Skull Bombs. We can add 2 oil counters on an artifact or creature. And we get to draw a card, so they replace themselves. So I don't mind going to 61 cards. We've got 3 copies of Churning Reservoir, which also add oil counters onto either artifacts or creatures every turn. And those can beef up the Exuberant Fuselings as well as the Sylex. So these get +1 to the power for every oil counter on it. Whenever a creature artifact that you control goes into the graveyard from the battlefield, they get an oil counter as well. We have a Reinforced Ronin. This one we could use to just sort of cycle if we need to draw a card, but there's a nice little synergy it has with my 3 copies of Dragonspark Reactor. I can bring this down without even attacking it and add a counter to every Dragonspark Reactor I have. And of course you just saw we won with that, so you know, if we can pump it up nicely with 1 or more copies, that's a nice little trick. We do have 4 Voltage Surges, so we can sacrifice an artifact to do 4 damage to a creature or planeswalker. I've got Lizard Blades, so if we have like 5 or 6 oil counters on a Fuseling and it's doing 6 trample damage, if we suddenly have it do double strike as well, that's kind of handy. Reckless Handling, since I only have 1 copy of Filigree Sylex, if I get this instead, I can go look for the card. The problem with this is it's a little risky because you discard a card at random. It won't do me any good to go get the Sylex only to discard the Sylex. The only thing that does is do 2 points of damage to the enemy, and that's it. So you want to sort of have a nice hand of other cards that you're willing to lose other than the Sylex. Don't use this when there's only 2 other cards in your hand. Reckless Impulse lets us draw more cards. Tablet of Completion, another source of adding oil counters. If we have enough, we can add mana, or we can draw a card later for just 1 mana source. The Magmatic Sprinters are great because they combine with the Fuselings to just add counters onto the Fuselings. But you can also add them onto the Sylex or the Urbrass Forge and pump up the Forge. And we want to bring these back up into our hand. 1 copy of Slowbad the Iron Goblin. He can sacrifice an artifact, add amount of red mana equal to that mana value of the artifact. You can use it only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. We have 4 board wipes. 2 small ones with Brotherhood's End for 3 damage, or 2 big ones for Burn Down the House for 5 damage. So those 4, plus the 4 Voltage Surge, plus you might count the Mightstone and Weakstone because we usually use it to get a target creature -5/-5. So that's kind of 10 forms of interaction for removal for creatures. But we also have Koth. The Planeswalker for -3 does damage to target creature equal to the number of mountains you control, and its +2 lets us go get mountains. And the emblem is awesome, and sometimes not hard to get to. We've got 14 mountains for Koth to bring out. We've got 4 Autonomous Furnace to draw cards if the match goes on too long. 1 Field of Ruin to take out one of their specialty lands. 2 Mishra's Foundry in fitting with the Magmatic Sprinter and Reinforced Ronin. We don't have a big footprint on the battlefield, so maybe not so many targets for the removal like sorcery removals. So Mishra's Foundry fits into that with being temporary creatures. 2 Monumental Facades, another source of adding oil counters. And 1 Mycosynth Gardens that can become a copy of a target artifact you control with mana value X. So maybe we could get a replacement Mightstone and Weakstone, or an extra Urbrass Forge if we need it, that kind of thing. So strap in and sit tight. We're going to do a couple more rounds here and see if we can get our Sylex out and build up the counters. I did it once in playtesting, and then after that everybody scooted before I could fire it. So if people are familiar with the Sylex, they don't want to hang around for the actual execution of the Sylex maneuver. And we did something unforgivable in Arena's mind. We won the first time out, so they're going to find somebody who can beat us if they can. Our opponent is Undefined Taco. Okay. Reservoir comes out. Ugh. That's kind of a problem for us. We need another land for sure. Our converted mana value of the deck, our average mana value cost is 2.2, so it's a very cheap deck. But the enchantment decks are also incredibly cheap. And if they have 3 lands, they can do pretty much everything they want. And we get tap land, which is better than anything else other than an untapped land, but we lose a little bit of momentum there, and it might hurt us. With as big a field as they have here, the Forge might not be able to be growing fast enough. The Kami can grow pretty fast with the Generous Visitor's help. And this is usually the key to the deck. So I actually need nothing but land. I need land, land, and more land. And I didn't get it, so yeah, missing a land drop against the enchantment deck, the Selesnya, because especially they have Hallowed Haunting too. Yeah, I needed the lands to do the board wipe. We'll wait and see. But I think we're dead after next turn. So yeah, there we go. All Arena needs to do is make us miss a land drop and we're done. It doesn't matter that we have one of the cheapest decks on the planet right now. You don't get much cheaper than 2.2 for your mana cost. In between the 3 Skull Bombs, we didn't even last that long. They had a perfect hand. No, because that was rigged. And you know it was. How long did they take to find it? Almost 30 seconds just to go pull that deck out, just so they... And they didn't make sure that it was fair. I mean, even if I'd made the land drop, that would have been 4 lands. They still killed me before I got my 5th land out. That was a 4-turn kill. And you notice they made sure that I didn't get any one of my cheap 1-mana removal spells. Or even my 3-mana board wipe. Didn't get any of that. We are all about attacking. They'll probably trade with the larger zombie. No, they don't. Interesting. Do they just have removal then? Ah, flying zombies now. A flying defender. Okay. What do we want to do against that? Put down this. Not attack. Get rid of the one that's pumping everybody up. And pass the turn. They can tap to surveil. Now they can attack with that. Okay. One sec. Tap this. Then we bring this down. Yes. Keep the new one. Let all the triggers go. Get rid of this flyer. Bring down another attacker. Pump up the reactor. Add all the counters to the fuseling. See if they have a removal. Returns it to my hand. Okay. Okay, lots of effort. No payoff. They were ready for us. And we get land, okay. Okay. Oh, hang on. Put this down. Put this down. Get rid of... Hit the player and get rid of you. I think we're done. Our opponent wants to race us. Let's see. You can come down. Oil counters go on here. You can come down. And you can turn into an assembly worker. And that was only 7, but they weren't confident that they could get anything to get us down to 0 before then. No sign of the Sylex yet. It tends to come up fairly often. Let's keep going. 2 wins, 1 loss. What will Arena do to us next? We are breathless with anticipation. I played early enough that I got my 15 wins in before the reset for a change. Unfortunately, I just did it using mono red again, so Magic is going to think from the statistics on the data they gather that red is my favorite color. It's not. It's probably one of the least colors that I use, I bet, normally. Except for the fact that when I go into ranked, a lot of the way I climb ranked is mono red. Okay, so let's do the fuseling first. And we'll go ahead and get rid of the dog now. And then we can start adding oil counters onto the fuseling. 0-3, they can scry with it. Okay, so hopefully they're willing to accept the fact that I'm just going to come in and pummel them with these things without blocking. No, they want to... They're thinking about it. Can you get any value out of the seer beforehand? It's got summoning sickness right now, so they couldn't scry. They couldn't scry with it right away. It looks like Arena tried to find me a mirror match with oil counters at least, so we're doing oil to oil. Oh, hello. On curve Vesuvian duplimancy. This could be troublesome for me because I missed a land drop. Hello? They're holding priority because they can scry now. I've got to wait until they pass every single time. Now they decide if they're going to block somebody. And they're going to take 8 points of damage. Okay, they probably have some way to deal with our creatures next turn then. They kind of need an instant or a big creature to block the sprinter. And if they don't have an answer, they're scrying now to try and find one. Using the duplimancy only to create a copy of a seer is only good to stall for so long. They're not missing a land drop. If they're going to keep up 4 mana, does that mean they have a Wandering Emperor? If they did, wouldn't they bring it down and use it now? Decisions. Yeah. Let's do it. I missed another land drop. Five, 6. They're willing to block both. Okay. Did 1 point of damage, and now their series is a 1-4. 2-5, sorry. Yeah, they lost both of them. And now they get to go look for things. I need one more land for my burn down the house. That's all I need. I guess I should just trigger this now and draw the card. Find out if I'm getting a land or not. Thank you. Since we have 2, let's do it this way. They've got 4 more mana open. If you're blocking them and killing them, that's still damage that's done. Aha! You can save the dog? No, you're not going to save the dog, because I'm going to kill the dog. Because you didn't want to block the dog. Interesting choices here. Let's keep going with this. What if we keep that one on the field? Brotherhood's End to do 3 to everybody. Means 2 more damage to my opponent. And we just need them to not get one of their other Union of the Third paths. Do they have counterspells? Left all your mana open, you gotta be able to do something. Evidently not. Hello. I'm very curious what those are now. There should be an option for the opponent to reveal to you your cards before they leave. That would be cool. Gain 1. Do you have a second one? Well, that's nice. It doesn't quite work for you at that point. They tried to see if there's something they could do there. They needed another Union of the Third path to give them some life a little bit earlier. Still want to get the Sylex out if we can. This one's a little bit different from the normal mono-red aggro. In a sense, it's still the same in spirit. You get down an Urbrass Forge or something, it's really just like the NASCAR player's deck, right? Go fast, turn them sideways. But because of what you can do with the oil counters, there are so many different options for where to place them. We can be faced with a situation where there's 5 or 6 different things that we could do and we have to look at things. What else do we have out there? No attacks. I really wish we didn't pull off Koth that early. That's bad. No blocks on that one. So I need an untapped land or I'm going to lose Koth already. That's devastating. Oh, phew. Thank you.
If there can be no victory, then I will... We have the high ground.
No attacks. Rabble Rousing is a fun card. Yeah, expected that. Lots of life will block there. All of these become a 2/2 creature.
Turn.
Okay, we play that. We go find another mountain and plus up 2 for cough. Get him back up to 6 right away. And then Brotherhood's End.
I'll never give up.
Enough time? Enough energy? Put down the Dragon Spark Reactor. Sweet. Now, Brotherhood's End also hurts the Planeswalkers, and it's non-discriminatory, so it hurt Koth a little bit too.
I'll never forget the home we lost.
But we can bring this down now. And if they don't have defenses, we get rid of their 2/2. They had just enough to protect it. Ouch. Ouch! What the heck, man?
More losses.
That's 2 board wipes. All they need is 1 creature to ruin my day with those 2 rabble rousers. Really? Now we're going to flood out with land? Let me keep it on the field. I'm going to keep that on the field. Draw a card, since all we're getting is lands. I mean, seriously? 6 lands to 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Okay, there's the Sylex. I'll pass. Why doesn't it want to let me? It didn't want to give me a turn there. Alright. Land, Sylex. Add the counter. Draw a card. Ooh, interesting. Opponent is still over 20, so they haven't been sweating anything. And we didn't have 2 counters, so the Sprinter comes up anyway. Which is fine, because we can board wipe now. Oh, hello. They got a whole enchantment artifact setup over here, don't they? They still need 1 creature to make things work. And we get more land. Great. Oil counters go on the Sylex. Sylex gets another oil counter. We attack. We go back up. Ah, now we're cooking with gas. Oil counters now go on Urbrass Forge. You don't have as much time as you thought now under Gallo. The clock just got a little bit faster. One more hit, and we'll be able to. Well, this should be lethal. Put it onto the forge. Probably should put it onto the forge again. They've got 2 spells and 7 untapped land. What do you got? Resolute Reinforcements. 2 2s. Do you chump block with both? You only block the one with first strike. They take the 5 points of damage from the trample, which is a mistake. Because now we sacrifice this. Submit 10. We just did the thing. They scoot before the 10 damage hit them. What is it about the psyche of people? Like, I'll sit here, if there's an interesting deck and I haven't seen the combo before, I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to let it happen. And I'm going to let them kill me and take the credit. What is it about everybody that as soon as they see there's lethal, they must escape before it actually hits them? Like, they can't stand the idea of even virtually taking damage. It's just a game, everybody. It's okay. It won't hurt you. It's like it would destroy their morale if they saw the defeat sign scroll across the page one more time. This is Arena. We're guaranteed almost a 50% loss ratio. Just get used to it already. All right, so I think we're going to leave it there. That's the Filigree Sylex. Maybe we would be more effective if we had 2 copies so that it would show up more often. But, I mean, that's if you especially wanted to make this your specific combo for the deck. As it is, we have a couple of different ways to win. It actually handles pretty well in my mind. I'm not sure if maybe we would do something else other than the Mike Stones and Weak Stones. Perhaps we need something in between Voltage Surge and Brotherhood's End in terms of removal. What do you think? Leave me a comment. With that, wish you a good day, everybody. Remember, like and subscribe. This is Travis from Tpull's Corner signing off. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.